Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/4u, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored just for you. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So a couple comments I've gotten and messages from listeners is, do I feel it's unsafe for somebody to be a Charlie Kirk or go out there and speak or do what I do? People have asked, do I feel less safe after what happened to Charlie Kirk? And I've had haters and stalkers since I started. I've been on air since 2009. And I'm sure, actually, I never took anybody's boyfriend. Yeah, I left everybody's husband alone. But I had a lot of enemies from girls in my class. So I'm not. I've had more enemies than friends. I try not to. I try to be really, really nice and sweet and always, I've made up with anybody that's tried to hurt me because I know, you forgive. You never forget, but I forgive because that's just what we do in our religion. But what happened to Charlie Kirk does beg the question: how safe are you in terms of your freedom of speech and in terms of you being a target? And, we make jokes, especially in show business, where you didn't make it if you don't have criticism, if people don't hate you. Now, and I don't feel I have, reached the level of, popularity or notoriety in show business as others have. But when I first got hate mail, individuals who were, more veteran and seasoned in the business, and I was, said, girl, that means you made it. Now, were they saying that to make me feel better? Or were they saying that as that means people are listening to you? And the funny thing is some of this hate mail was coming daily. They were listening to my show. I'm like, if you hate me, why do you listen? And then why do you, respond like that? You would think if you hate me, you would just go off and do your thing. But it's because, do they have mental illness? Do they want to start a fight? Do they want to, engage? And so, Charlie Kirk had been, open about receiving death threats, quote, all the time. Charlie Kirk had told an audience in May, according to ABC News, he says, look, we get death threats, him and his family. People want to murder us. He said, you should not have to walk around with security for your entire family and for myself just because you support a politician or political candidate or certain values. And what he did was he debated, controversial topics with students, which has been lacking over the years, that he has brought back. You should be able to have, conversations. That's what, debates. That's what we did in debate class. My teacher would say, Daliah, how do you feel about X, Y, and Z? I tell her, she goes, good. you're going to debate the other side. I'm like, why? I don't feel that way. She goes, this is debate class. I'm supposed to teach you guys how to debate. And she was right. Just like I taught my kids when they play chess. Sorry, I had to unplug this. When my kids play chess, I immediately would sacrifice my queen for theirs. But, Mom, I need my queen. You want me to win a game of chess? How do I do that without my queen? I go, if you don't know how to win a game of chess without your queen, you don't know how to play chess. No queens. And I would always sacrifice my queen right out the gate to knock out theirs so that they were forced to learn how to play without it. And so, we debate, and talking about the issues and seeing both sides makes us educated. Charlie Kirk was a smart man. But he did, say that he and his family, have been, had been threatened. And he had said, I'm just in another higher hazard job. But it does make you rethink going out there. And speaking, I'm not afraid. I'm still going to say my mind. I'm still going to, help people. I'm still going to educate people. I'm still going to allow discussion, allow debate. But I got to tell you, when I was offered to run for office, my kids, this was right after Congresswoman Gabby Giffords got shot. I remember, both of them said no at the same time. And the older one says, Mom, you'll get shot. My kids were really fearful of that because political assassination is something that sadly has riddled this country. We're going into our 250th year. And Trump has 2 assassination attempts on his life, multiple threats. Charlie Kirk killed, those Democratic Congress people in Minnesota. Gabby Gifford shot. There are individuals that you have no idea that are hunting you. And let's say you're not in show business. You're not in media. You're not in politics. But you're online. There are people that may find something you do hate-worthy. Now, somebody could say, well, Dr. Daliah, so I guess the moral is don't stand out. Just lay low, keep your head down. Well, did that work for Irina Kuretska, the Ukrainian woman, who all she did was just get on the train, scroll through her phone, text her boyfriend. She was no threat to nobody, and she got stabbed and killed. So how do you navigate life if you're afraid to, just kind of lay low, do your thing because somebody could kill you, or you're afraid to stand out because somebody will want to kill you? Well, to hell with that. We have one life to live. Charlie Kirk led one hell of a bountiful and influential life. And he made the ultimate sacrifice, dying, trying to advocate for free speech. And his death will continue his legacy. But we do need to reevaluate security and make sure this never, for anybody, any politician, right, left, I don't care, ever happens again. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Hey guys, it's Dr. Daliah. Fantasy football season is coming, but sadly, too many of you are taking the bench while the country takes part in one of the most exciting and lucrative industries out there. Don't know how to play? Well, huddle up and listen. Paul Kalikas and I have written a fantasy football pocket guide for beginners. This book walks you through the basics and shows you how simple and lucrative joining or creating a fantasy football team can be. Read our fantasy football pocket guide for beginners found on Amazon or follow the links on X and Facebook. That's fantasy football pocket guides for beginners. Don't be left out.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hotshot Secret, powered by science.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So one of you asked, what is Discord? You keep hearing in the news that some of these shooters have used Discord as well as Tyler Robinson. So a Discord is what the younger kids are using. It's actually a cool app. It's whereas a lot of older people are, into Facebook and Instagram, Discord allows chat rooms. I think it came out last decade. I think it's over 10 years old. And so people go on Discord and could talk to people all over the world. They could, I guess, do video chats. You can, I think, link in your video games so you can see people's video game and how they and playing while you're playing with them. And I think it's a monthly subscription. And so Discord kind of is the playground for kids, which it shouldn't be. There should be, age restrictions, but it allows these kids to interact with other kids, play video games with them, talk to them. And I remember hearing one of my kids, talk to his friends, and it was it was crazy. I don't want to repeat everything they were talking about, but my son's like, "Mom, you got to listen to this." So they're just talking about whatever, and then they start talking about girls, and they talk about who they want to smash, which I guess was the word at the time for who you want to have sex with. It's funny, those terms throughout. I want to kind of look at all the different, like, what did they use in the, the 40s versus the 20s? What was the term they used, the 1800s? Well, I want to go find a woman and blink. But anyway, so smash. And then, my son, they're playing video games and you hear the boys talk, and I'm about to leave going, okay, well, you guys have fun. Yeah, I wanted to make sure nobody was talking about drugs or smoking or whatever. And then I guess one of the kids starts, they were teenagers at the time. They bring up, who do you want to smash? Who do you want to smash? And then they go, Stone's mother. Okay, my kid's name is Stone. And all of a sudden you hear them go, yeah, whatever. And then my son gets so freaked out that he tries to shut off the volume and shut them up. And I was like, look, listen, they're joking. They're everybody. That's what they do. They talk about your mother. No big deal. I'm not upset, whatever. But it's been somewhere if everybody can't get together, they do this online and but the conversations can get very, very risque. They could get very dark. And in this particular case, with Tyler Robinson, the suspected shooter and assassin with Charlie Kirk, apparently he was on that platform. And in fact, actually, if we go back to 2022, Peyton Gendron, the man indicted for the mass shooting at that supermarket in Buffalo, New York, he killed 10 people. Apparently, he was on an invitation-only Discord server, and he detailed his plans. Discord was able to disclose his activities on the platform and pledged to work to combat hate, violence, and extremism after this guy was on Discord talking about it. And so other mass shootings have been discussed on Discord, last year at Appalachia High School in Georgia. Authorities think that the teen charged in that shooting, Colt Gray, used an email address that was linked to a chat discussing the desire to commit a mass shooting. NBC News reported that Discord messages about violence were also connected to Dylan Butler. He was the one that took his own life after a school shooting in Iowa last year. Now, you can be anonymous, but Tyler Robinson, I guess these were Discord messages that Tyler Robinson's roommate showed police, were from an account named Tyler. He didn't even try to hide it. Cox said they currently believe the shooter acted alone in the September 10th killing of Charlie Kirk. But to answer your question, Discord, just like you'll see ominous posts on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and social media is now the way people communicate with each other. They're able to communicate with more. They're able to share their ideas, and sadly, if nobody finds it and nobody kind of senses that this is not supposed to be this is not okay, then they're not going to report it, and they need to report it. Another question we're getting is this assassin, now suspect in custody, Tyler Robinson, but how much training was he hired? If he was he acting alone? And so when I first heard, and I first saw the shooting, and where Charlie Kirk was shot in the jugular, I talked to my husband about that, and I go, gosh, that was pretty exact. I mean, the shooter got him in one shot. This was planned. This was a professional hit. But my husband reminded me, he's like, actually, no, they would do point blank in the chest. They wouldn't take the risk of something so small a target as the neck. He missed the chest and hit the neck. That's what, but and other people were kind of talking about that too. God, horrible to even think about. Were they aiming for his head? Were they aiming for his chest? But I mean, they got him on the left side of the neck. And how skilled a shooter do you need to be? Well, the allegedly the suspect had a bolt action rifle. He was 150 yards from an elevated position. That's not as difficult as one would think. Plus, he probably had a scope. And so it's a lot easier for people to have sniper type skills, not like what we see, in military sniper. These people have a much different skill set. But being 150 feet away, sadly, this person was able to hit his target unobstructed from higher ground. Now, another question is, where was security? Why wasn't security checking the roofs? Utah Valley University, not known for it being a violent mecca, not in the news for protests and anti-Semitism and bigotry and all that. It doesn't get in the news. But unfortunately, with that Iowa school shooting, with the Minnesota church, people are not looking for the busiest, when they want to hit their target, they're going to hit their target where they have access. And even though Charlie Kirk had security, and even though I think there were six officers for 3,000 people who were there, not enough. And it is on the university to protect their speakers. But you saw Charlie Kirk. He was doing what he loved. He had crowds of people who loved him. But, his programs were unique in that people who dissented and disagreed with him were given amazing opportunities to interact with him. And, do I think the shooter acted alone? I don't know. I don't trust the media because do we know any more about the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting that almost killed Trump? I mean, we end up, we're going to discuss it, and then nothing comes out. Why not? The punk that tried to shoot President Trump, how did he know to bear crawl? How did he know how to evade Secret Service? There's just too many questions. And that's frightening. Now, people could say, but Dr. Daliah, if it was, let's say, an inside job or something, Trump would have been vocal about it. I don't know, because here's the thing. Trump's got work to do. He survived it. He became president. I think we might get more information once he completes his presidency. But I think right now he doesn't want that distraction. So I sincerely doubt Trump is okay with the lack of information that currently we're, witnessing. I am sure he knows more. But I think he's going to move on. He's going to make sure there's better protection. He's going to also be a lot more careful, who to trust and who he's hiring. But it's just frightening that here we are in 2025 and we have not mastered security for a high-profile public speaker, for a presidential candidate and former president, for kids in a church, for Congress people. For we here we are, 2025. So we'll keep you posted as we get more information on the shooter. It is an evolving story, but pray for Charlie Kirk's family that they have strength during this difficult time. 1-877 Doc Daliah. Don't go away.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Doc Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So there's been a variety of statistics looking at cancer. When I was in medical school, we were taught that 1 in 2 people will get some sort of cancer in their life, even if it's a benign tumor. American Cancer Society says 1 in 3 Americans face a risk of cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. And in my family, breast cancer is common. Breast cancer affects 1 in 8 of us. But I got to tell you, the people surviving breast cancer are sharing their story, reaching out, and saving lives. And one such person I'm so excited to have is Broadway actress, cancer survivor, and advocate, social media influencer, Sarah Bentley. She is teaming up with AFLAC to launch a new campaign called Checked for Cancer, with the goal of increasing early cancer screenings by 10% over the next decade. As you know, Sarah Bentley is a Broadway actress and co-founder of A Chance for Life. A Chance for Life is a nonprofit that funds surrogacy for breast cancer survivors. Wow. Sarah, we are so excited to have you. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Dr. Daliah. I'm thrilled to be here to share my story and to tell you a little bit more about this amazing campaign with AFLAC.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I mean, you were diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. You were only 38 years old. And, that's very traumatizing. And here you are, willing to share, your cancer journey. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, my story is my superpower, right? And by telling it, I hope to reach at least one of your listeners. I had a itch underneath my armpit. I went down to scratch it, and I found a lump the size of a walnut. And my doctors, they brushed it. They didn't think it was anything serious, but I know my body so well, as a professional dancer and a yogi, and I just knew something wasn't right. So I advocated fiercely for more tests, and eventually, after multiple biopsies, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And, that's why I've teamed up with AFLAC on the Check for Cancer campaign, because of my advocacy for myself and my own health, I saved my own life. And I want to help others do the same. I mean, early detection, it really matters.
So true. And I can't tell you how many times patients feel intimidated by their medical provider because they say, no, you're too young. Or, no, it's nothing. In fact, we opened the show talking about itching and how sometimes an itch is a sign that you could have something underlying. So, it's just so telling that these are the ways your body, like you said, your body. And so thank God it was caught at stage 2. And so how did your treatment go and your recovery?
Yeah, I thank God every day for that itch, Dr. Daliah. I'm telling you. Thank you, itch. But yeah, I was diagnosed at stage 2, which is considered early stage breast cancer. And there's no easy stage of breast cancer. I mean, this rocked my life and changed the entire course of it. However, the most important thing I want everyone to hear is that because it was caught early, it was treatable, right? And this is why AFLAC is here to talk about this Check for Cancer campaign with myself, because they're like a lot more than just an insurance company, and a lot of people don't know that, but they're pioneers when it comes to cancer insurance. So raising awareness through this campaign together, we hope to increase cancer screenings by 10% in the next 10 years. It's such an important message.
Love it, love it. So talk to us about Check for Cancer.
Yeah. All right, this is a wild stat. Are you ready? AFLAC did a study showing that 60% of people skip their routine medical exams and screenings. Yet we know that early detection can boost survival rates above 90%. And that's why we're here with this movement. And we want to make it very simple for everyone, right? So checkered patterns, a chessboard, a checkered flag, a checkered pair of sneakers. Anytime you see a check, you're reminded to get checked. And
Brilliant.
Not only that, but the social, it's so great, right? I mean, it's so obvious. It's right in front of you. There's checkers everywhere. And the social media component is that every time you post using hashtag Check for Cancer, AFLAC contributes $5 to childhood cancer care and research up to $1 million. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm doing my mammogram in November, and we got Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming up. We have so absolutely hashtag Check for Cancer, because wow, you're helping save children's lives and adults' lives with reminding them of such a great campaign. We're speaking with Broadway actress, cancer survivor, and advocate social media influencer Sarah Bentley. So 60% of people avoid routine health checkups from the AFLAC survey. So, we think we know why, but how do you? I mean, I know as a doctor, but that's kind of intimidating. How do you send that message, resonate that message to those individuals who are apprehensive about going and getting checked?
Yeah, when I felt that lump, I already was terrified, right? What could it be? What could they tell me? If I go to get checked, what if they tell me it's cancer? And I almost stopped at the front door of the radiologist's office because of that fear. And I took a deep breath and I said, knowledge is power. Because you know what's scarier? Not knowing. And if I wouldn't have gotten those tests, my doctor said my cancer was so aggressive, I could have been stage 4 if I would have waited just a few more months. And this is what I want you to walk away with. The data on early detection is all around us. It's everywhere. With early detection, most cancers are far more treatable, right? So don't wait. Take a deep breath and know knowledge is your power.
So true. So what's next for you in your career?
Yeah, speaking of power, my story is my superpower. So I'm going to continue to tell it wherever people will hear it, through this campaign with Aflac, Check for Cancer, and through my advocacy for all cancer survivors and people going through it, as well as with my nonprofit. We raise money to give full surrogacy journeys to breast cancer survivors. As a new mama, I'm a mama of a 20-month-old baby boy, brought here via surrogacy. I got my chance. His name is Chance, after breast cancer, and I want to have women be able to have their chance too.
Oh my gosh. Well, you are, I had a friend of mine that had stage 3 cervical cancer, and, she was like, how could this happen to me? And she survived it. And I go, sometimes I feel this is God's way or nature's way of protecting others by, people such as yourself with such, enthusiasm and passion, for other people, to save lives. And so, it's a shame you had to go through what you went through, but you're turning it into something good. And God bless you for that. I really appreciate what you and Aflac are doing.
Well, thank you, Dr. Daliah. Yeah, that's why, teaming up with Aflac, who is just as passionate as I am about helping people have the right kind of information to know that checking for cancer is giving you a leg up on anything that could be happening in your body is a very, it's what I aim to do. So I want to let you guys know, though, if you want to have any more information on this campaign, there's so much more to talk about. Aflac.com/checkforcancer. All of the resources are there. Screening checklists, employers, toolkits, and just all the good ways to get proactive about your own health.
Absolutely. Thank you. I was going to ask where to get more information. One more time, if you could give us the website.
Yes. Get your pens out. Aflac.com/checkforcancer.
Wonderful. #check for cancer. Love you, Sarah, so much. Can't wait to have you back. Thank you and Aflac for all you do.
Thank you, Dr. Daliah.
Anytime. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So when I had my breast cancer scare, I was, because I had blood coming from one side, one breast, and that's never anything good. And I'm sitting there waiting for my mammogram and for my biopsy, and I'm hearing people giggle, in the back of the doctor's office and things. And I'm just thinking to myself, going, gosh, why can't I be like them? Why can't I, why can't I, ignorance is bliss sort of thing. But I got to tell you, catching something early and getting ahead of it is actually the blessing. And so, I understand it's intimidating to go and get checked out. I get it. It's not easy. I hate going to the doctor, and I am a doctor. But get yourself checked out. 1-877-DOC-DALI. Don't go away.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit, and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799, and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So one thing that I kind of am a little concerned about is I'll get these patients where they have multiple drug allergies. I had a patient this weekend, allergic to sulfa, allergic to penicillin, allergic to cephalosporin, allergic to the ciprofloxacins or the floxacins, allergic to, and the list went on. And I'm like, well, if I have to treat you, let's see what you actually have. Let's confirm, because I don't want to give you something that you're going to be allergic to, and I can't. And maybe you don't need an antibiotic. But if you do, we have to figure something out. And I am blown away at how many people think they're allergic to a medicine who aren't. Now, I'm not saying if you have a drug allergy right now, you're allergic. If you think you're allergic to the medicine, you're allergic. I remember being able to take sulfa as a kid, and then as an adult, whoa, it was crazy what happened to me. It looked like I was getting petechiae bleeding underneath the skin. I was urinating black. It was some scary stuff. So sulfa, I'm sorry, I'm not taking sulfa. And in fact, I told my kids, don't take sulfa. My mom's allergic to sulfa. I'm allergic to sulfa. It's our kryptonite. Okay, Mom. See, they understand that. It's our kryptonite. If I say it's bad, they'll do it. But if I say kryptonite, they're like, ooh, okay, then I can't do it. It's like Thanos' flip of the wrist and his, oh, okay. Thank you for the Thanos analogy, Mom. I got it now. And so when I ask patients, I go, okay, you're allergic to penicillin. What does it do? Well, they go, I get a rash. Are they truly allergic to penicillin? And this is starting to become an issue because we have such a demand for non-penicillin antibiotics. And because there's like a 20% cross-reactivity with the cephalosporins, many of us doctors will avoid the cephalosporins as well. So now somebody who says they're allergic to penicillin can't get two powerful classes of medication. Yet I had a patient this weekend who said, I'm allergic to penicillin. And I go, okay, what antibiotics can you take? They said, well, I could take Augmentin. Augmentin is amoxicillin in the penicillin family plus clavulanic acid. I go, so you can't take penicillin, but you could take amoxicillin clavulanic acid. Why? What's your penicillin allergy? I don't know. My mom says I'm allergic. So we have millions of people who think they're allergic to something and they don't know. And so they avoid it. And now they're starting to narrow down their choices. One issue that I had told you guys years ago that I think might have happened is many of these kids didn't have a bacterial infection, but they had a viral infection. And with viral infections, the rash may come on a couple days after the fever. So parents bring the kid in saying they need amoxicillin or ampicillin or whatever. They got a sore throat. They may have ear pain. Then they get a rash 2 or 3 days later. Was it the virus that they had where it just erupted, or was it the antibiotic that they took? So when I hear that a kid got a rash from the antibiotic, it could be an allergy, but it might not have been. The other thing too is we used to give a big shot of penicillin. For some people that might have been too much. And so we used to give a 1-shot dose of penicillin and then you'd be covered. Now, by the time I was in training, they start to phase that out. We wouldn't just give kids one big shot of penicillin. But there are many individuals that are older, the baby boomers, who said they got sick from penicillin. They got sick because they got such a big boost of a shot, a dose, 10,000 units, then yes, that might have been a reaction to the shot or the preservative in it. So my concern is we have many people who think they're allergic, millions of Americans who think they're allergic to a very powerful class of antibiotics. In fact, I was doing my infectious disease rotation at UCLA in the 90s, right before I graduated. And infectious disease in UCLA, the majority of the patients had HIV. You know, I thought I would be seeing more elephantitis or trichomoniasis or other things, but the majority. So I got to learn a lot of HIV medicine. Well, we had one patient who had syphilis, and syphilis, usually the first line treatment is penicillin. Well, this gentleman he had neurosyphilis, so he had severe syphilis. So what we had to do was give him penicillin. He was allergic, but they gave him Benadryl and steroids so he wouldn't react to the penicillin, because penicillin was the main line to treat his neurosyphilis. We got him better. But I remember the attending saying, I don't care if he's allergic to penicillin. We got to save this guy's life. And so I think we're using the allergy denotation maybe a little too liberally without verifying. And I'm of the mindset, for those of you where it wasn't that obvious, can we verify it? Well, we can. An allergist could test. We could do patch testing. We could do trial testing. There's ways to test if you're allergic to penicillin. And it's not that I want millions of Americans to go and run and go get tested. But if you didn't have difficulty, so a true allergy could be anywhere from you having a rash to you going into full-blown anaphylaxis, tongue swelling, lip swelling, difficulty breathing, going into shock and dying. And your early allergies could just be a simple rash. And then the 4th or 5th or 17th time you're exposed, it becomes a worse allergy. So we still take penicillin rashes as possible allergies very seriously. But my worry is I'm seeing a lot of misdiagnosis. I'm having patients call up, say, my kid is allergic to the antibiotics they gave him. And I go online and I see what the other online doctor did. And I'm like, well, maybe this is a virus. Maybe that's where the rash is coming from. So we need to figure out if the kid's rash is the antibiotic or the virus. I've gotten pretty good at determining a penicillin allergy rash. It's very, very blotchy. It's widespread. But some viruses can still do the same. I can't say I'm 100% sure. Now, if you verified that the person had strep, you verified they had an ear infection, you verified that there could have been a bacterial issue, right? Then that also kind of lends credence to you might be allergic. But if it's somebody calling online saying, yeah, my kid's ear hurts. All right, here's an antibiotic. Well, how do you know? Even COVID can cause ear pain. So my concern is, as these other antibiotics are starting to grow resistance, and boy, are we getting a lot of resistance, I want us to go back to old school if the patient can handle it. Now, do not try it on your own. Never, if you think you're allergic, right now you're allergic until proven otherwise. And doctors are going to also take that path, because we just spoke about lawsuits. Nobody's going to want to give you a medicine you could be allergic to. But if you're one of these people where you seem to be allergic to everything, you really should see an allergist and find out if these are true allergies, if there's something that can make you less atopic and less susceptible to allergies, and to figure out what actually you can take. It really kills me when I have a patient that says, well, I really can't take anything because I'm allergic to everything. That I don't want them dying of sepsis. I don't want them having to be immunocompromised just so we can get the antibiotic into them. So we really do need to we really do need to break this down. Penicillin allergies are preventing a lot of good, solid treatment. And we have a lot of penicillin overuse, Z-Pak overuse, Cipro overuse, doxycycline. See, now I'm seeing everybody use doxycycline. The problem with doxycycline is you're really not supposed to use that if you are pregnant, or if you don't know if you're pregnant. So we're seeing a lot of people on that antibiotic. And, did we make sure you were pregnant first? So don't take anything you're allergic to. But if all you had was a mild rash, maybe get that reconfirmed with a doctor, medical provider. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
you believe with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.